everyone. Welcome to the River's Edge. I'm super excited today to have Alexander Quinn on board with us. He wrote a book called The 360 Fast Track to Master Ascension. He got offered a deal by Dolores Cannon's publishing company, which he did turn down. But we got to all get a copy of his book. He'll tell us where to get that. And he's recently gone full time on being an Intuit and an Ascension, helping people with Ascension and being a Starseed. And I'm excited to talk to him today about what's going on in the world, the current events, and get his take on it. And you guys got to follow him on Facebook also. I'll put all the links to how to contact him in the video description. But thank you so much for coming here, Alexander.
Kelly, it's lovely to be on your show. It's an absolute joy. I'm so glad that you asked me. And I mean, I have a big, America is a very big piece of my heart because I used to live and work in Nashville, Tennessee. So I love connecting to the other side of the pond. Anyone says, can I connect to the other side of the pond? I'm straight in. So I think you got in touch with me just yesterday. And I said, let's make it, let's get this in, let's get it wrapped up and let's do it as soon as possible. For 24 hours later on, here we are, bing, bang, bosh, and we're off.
It's so funny. And by the way, he did live in Nashville and he wrote for country music, right? Country music songs. Is that what you did?
That's right. Before I went full-time, became a full-time Starseed. Once upon a time, yeah, I was living and working in Nashville. I was dating Mindy McCready. I was writing with John Bon Jovi's writer. It was unbelievable. It was a crazy life, but it was crazy. It was very, very wild. And then I had an accident that put me in hospital. And I went to Vanderbilt Hospital in Nashville, and it was a head injury. And it was quite severe, and I had like a massive cuts all around my face, and there was a hole here, and my thing was ripped up to my nose, and they had to sew me all up.
Wow.
I've healed really, really well, but the accident triggered like some kind of a spiritual. It was kind of like a jolt, and it kind of like jolted me. I mean, the psychics run in my family, so as I was explaining before we started this, I was saying, my uncle is a very well-known tarot card reader. He reads for a lot of American politicians and celebrities and people like that. My mother was very, very psychic. My grandmother was very, very psychic. She was one of the very few survivors of the Titanic, because when the Titanic left Southampton, it went to France, and then from France, it went to Ireland. And then when it got to Ireland, she had a premonition it was going to sink, and everyone said, you're crazy. And she said, no, I generally think this is going to sink. And she got off and then it sunk. And there's obviously conspiracy theories all about how yeah, it was blown up because they wanted all the families dead that were on there and all that kind of stuff. But so I think there's always been something underlying, but my kind of intuition and stuff is a little bit more off-world. It's a little bit more like, as you can see, my little friend here is a little bit more like angelic, extraterrestrial, like metaphysical, spiritual. This is all kind of the things that I talk about on my channel. And then I after this trauma that I had, I basically came back to the UK from Nashville. And then I was doing like kind of office jobs and some music industry stuff and bits and pieces. But all the while, this thing, spiritual awakening, was just like ramping up, and I was seeing orbs and flashes of lights and having like extraterrestrial like contactee moments and weird, crazy, wonderful things. And it just built and built and built and built. And it's weird because everything after the accident, like whatever I dipped my hand in, it was like the universe was saying, this is not your true calling. This is not your true calling. And then it wasn't until more and more signs were leading me up to what I'm doing now. And then when I started what I'm doing now, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it's just like everything started clicking, like all the synchronicities, like all the connections, like everything just started falling into place, like magically. And I was like, and my mom, just before she died last year, she had she was getting messages saying, this, you've got to do, this is what you need to do. You've got to help humanity birth their way into the new world from 3D into 5D. And it's going to suck in the beginning, but you're going to fall into it, and it's going to be fantastic. And you need to help people because of all the stuff you've been through. And obviously we have this thing in our bloodline, this psychic kind of thing that runs. So, and I'm, it's a bit of a shock to the system, I've got to say, becoming a full-time Starseed.
I bet.
Having worked in the 9 to 5 3D
having a regular
world.
paycheck.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a regular paycheck. But I have a website coming. The book will be out soon, and you can check me out on Facebook and YouTube. I think you're going to put the links down there, and that's how this whole thing kicked off. And it's really just all the signs from the universe have just been saying, yes, you're on the right path. Yes, you're on the and it's just gone from crazy to crazy to crazy, and yeah, and I just love it. It's the most fulfilling thing I think I've ever started doing in my entire life.
So I'm curious about the book. When did you start writing it, and when did you? It's not. When will it be available? I should say.
So I started writing it about a year and a half ago, believe it or not. And I literally I came out of this contract from my last job. I had no idea how I was going to publish it. I knew I've been following and having experience all about ascension and 5D and dimensionality and the crystalline grid and spirituality and metaphysics and all these things for most of my life, but especially since 2012. So I used to go to all these conferences, and Glastonbury is a very spiritual little town where they have a lot of crazy, weird and wonderful things, and witchcraft shops and crystal shops and all kind of stuff. And I used to go to the Glastonbury Symposium, and they would get some of the best people around the world, like Lee Carroll, who channels Cryon, and some of the best speakers in spirituality, metaphysics. And they would go to this thing called the Glastonbury Symposium. And I would go every year and stay in a little wood cabin. And I used to think to myself, I know more, I can speak more than some of these people that they're actually talking about. And I've had the experiences. So I thought, I got to write a book. I got to get it into some book form, because what these people are doing is they're very, very good, and they're very, very good at speaking about all this stuff. But what they're not doing, what people are lacking to get them in from the 3D over the 3D hurdle into the 5D hurdle, is we got to connect the dots, and people are not connecting the dots. So yeah, let's talk about the crystalline grid. Let's talk about ascension. Let's talk about dimensionality. Let's talk about the nuclear age in the 40s, which spawned like the Gaia pounding alarm that resonated, went out into the galaxy, and all these souls started coming here. That's great. But how does it all link together? How do you connect the dots? Because there's a lot of great books out there, but they don't connect the dots. So my book is a dot connector. So I had no idea how I was going to get it out there. And then I spent a couple of months writing to pretty much just every publisher that I could find on the face of the planet. And I was just about to give up and go self-publishing. And then Dolores Cannon came along, her publisher, and said, hey, we're going to give you some money, and we're going to give you a book deal. And I was like, wow. And I looked at the contract, and it wasn't right for me. I've actually gone with someone else. But the book will be out. It's January now. We're in January now. The book will be out in March, something like that.
Okay.
So when you go to my YouTube, you can go and you can find it all. But it's basically it is a way of. Now I will show you what the front cover looks like. I've got it on my phone. It looks like this. Let's see. It looks like this. This is what the front cover. So that's what it's going to look like. It's called Starseeds. What's it all about? And the tagline is Mastering Ascension. So it's basically like it links all the information together. So you can go from like an absolute amateur to basically speaking like Alexander Quinn once you've got to the end of the book. I basically gave you everything.
Sweet. I can't wait. So I want to do another video just based on that alone. There's so much information in there. So I'll have to get the book and read it, and we'll do a book review after it comes out.
100%. Because what a lot of people don't understand is dimensionality. Dimensionality is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and everything up to 12. And there's even dimensions beyond that. But dimensionality is a landscape whereby you can pinpoint and roadmap energies and vibrations. So then when you can pinpoint and roadmap vibrations, then you can figure out where you are in dimensionality. Am I in 2? Am I in 4? Well, you wouldn't be in 2, but 3, 4, 5, and all the rest of it. And that's really helpful, because you need to pinpoint where you are, what vibration you're at, so that you can keep a higher vibration. Because then when you can pinpoint where you're at, then it's easier to go, oh my God, am I dipping back into 3? Am I staying in 5? And I made a series on my YouTube as a playlist, the dimensions explained. So it'll help you keep a higher vibration because it'll help you pinpoint on the roadmap of where you are vibrationally. And that's very important. So that's in the book too.
So when I have technical difficulties, I definitely go in the lowest vibration possible. It's very hard to get out of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, look, I'm a Leo. I have the same birthday as Madonna, you know, like, so when tech isn't working, I just feel furious. I just want to throw the laptop out the window. You know, I get very un-Starseed like, and I'm not spiritual when, you know, when tech isn't working, I'm not spiritual at all. You know, I just want to chuck the laptop in the river. You know, I live next to the Thames and I just want to put the Mac in the river, but I totally understand. And also, you know, there's a lot of indigo children out there, rainbow children, crystal children, you know, they're coming in with a higher Merkaba electromagnetic resonance around them, and they, you know, they interact with, you know, phones and things, and electric induction hobs, and, you know, your TV remote. And these younger kids are interfering with batteries on things and technology, so it's even harder for them, you know, the indigo children. So when they're resonant, you know, when they're playing with technology and they are not in the right frequency, they mess up technology even worse than me. So it's even harder for them. So they've got, so, you know, a lot of parents who are having these very, very high vibrational children, some would say that they're on the spectrum, or they're autistic, or the ADH, or whatever label you want to put on it. I don't like labels too much, but, you know, they give them their phones and they give them iPads and they give them screens and devices and things, and they seemingly seem to keep breaking them, but they're not. You know, these kids are very vibrational, and, you know, sometimes technology, the vibration alone is kind of messing with it. So I can't remember what the question was, but yeah.
Oh, just talking about technology being frustrating. Okay, so I only have you for an hour, so I want to get on it. I wanted to ask Alexander questions about the current events. He did a predictions video recently. It's on his YouTube channel and it's on your Facebook as well. And so it's craziness out there right now, right? So like people are expecting a blackout to happen. They want arrests to happen. Do you have any insight or your input on that, on what you think will happen in the next coming days even?
Yeah, so there's a video
out there.
Yeah. So, crikey, I mean, we're in very, very crazy times. I want to liken it to childbirth. I got childbirth. What the hell? What? Alexander Quinn, childbirth. Wow, that's crazy. No, childbirth. Because when a woman is in labor, you have to go through a process to push the new life out, to birth the new life out into existence. And it's not like just like, I don't know, switching on the TV.
Right.
Or it's not like just, you know, like cutting an onion, bing, bang, bosh, and you put it in the frying pan and then off you go. You know, there's a little bit of maneuvering. Sometimes there's a little bit of pain. Right now we're in the labor pains. So what it is like the baby has gone through the 9 months and now it's time to be pushed out.
Yeah.
And people are feeling this push, and it's a little bit discombobulating and a little bit painful, especially for the people who are definitely still in like the lower, you know, in 3D and still feel, you know, it's painful because their worlds are being tipped upside down, and they, you know, we got fake news everywhere, and people don't know what to believe, and people are having ascension symptoms, and their bodies are changing, and they're going from carbon-based to crystalline-based, and they don't know whether they're going crazy or not, and they're changing careers or moving to other towns, and relationships are falling apart because they're going through an old energy to a new energy, and the world is being tipped upside down for very good purpose, because there's a new world being birthed. So, you know, and also don't forget, it's very important. This is not just some metaphysical kind of weird energy, new age, like nonsense, like BS stuff. Let's play a little bit of science for a minute, because, you know, there's a lot of science behind this. You know, metaphysics is not, by the way, metaphysics means meta being the Greek for beyond physics, and then physics means physics. So it means beyond the physics. Well, beyond the physics that we only know about now, doesn't mean that science won't catch up. It's going to catch up. So, but basically, yeah, I mean, we're going from one dimension to another. You know, humans like to go, if there's two doors in front of a human being, 3D door and a 5D door. Well, the 3D door says familiarity, comfortability, safety. That's what I know. The
Mm,
5D door says this is going to be better for you, but it's going to be a little bit more painful.
the
It's going to be
unknown.
a much brighter future, but it says it's got big letters on it, and the big letters saying unknown. Unknown. Now, when a human being, especially coming from the energy that we have been in, the human being likes the door that says 3D, safety, familiarity. I'm not talking about everyone, but I'm talking about humanity.
Correct.
So right now, there's a door that says unknown, and the human being doesn't want to go to a door that says unknown. It's uncomfortable.
Even if
So
their current life is not great, they still want the current life, right?
yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, like if you look at that movie, The Shawshank Redemption, what is that actor?
No. Um,
it,
the black guy
there's
that got out,
yeah. What is the guy? Along Came a Spider, and Morgan
Morgan,
Freeman.
yeah.
Now, when he came out of the Shawshank, he was institutionalized within the prison system. So when he came out, he was almost fearful of coming out. Now, it's the same with souls. There is a fear of enlightenment. Souls don't, there's a lot of souls who have fear of enlightenment. They don't want to come out of the prison because it's scary for them. It's like being like, it's like you go from your own self-imprisoned, indoctrinated ideas that you have been sold, that you have latched onto, to well, where do I go next? You know, I've spent my whole life living this way, and like, where do I go next? So it's scary.
It,
So going back to your question, you were saying I made this prediction video. Well, we're now at the end game, but we're actually beyond the end game, because right now where we're at is we're at the point where Dolores Cannon, and if you don't know who, for your subscribers and viewers who don't know who Dolores Cannon is, we've got to a point now where we had the 3D and we had the 5D, and they've been sat like this, sandwiched next. I'll put my hands here so you can see my face. They've been sandwiched like this for a very long time, and then we had the solar flash on the 21st of December. That was the major gyration that when all of a sudden the timelines, the 3D and the 5 timelines went boom. Hello, we're not together anymore. Now you really can't sit on the fence anymore. We got the 3D world, and now we've got the 5D world. Which one do you want to buy into?
so, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. No. What were you going to say?
I just wanted explanation on that. When you say make a decision, that's a good analogy. I like that. But you're still going back and forth, right? Like people are still bouncing between 3D and 5D. When you say maybe, it's like, do you mean like make a conscious decision? Like, wait, I'm operating in 3D. I need to get back in 5D.
So let's just take a hypothetical situation. For example, let's just say the Pleiadians, for example. Okay, so they're a civilized race. They're a race that have got approximately 1 million years ahead of ourselves in terms of advancement, spirituality, in spiritualness. They live in the Pleiades. They look a lot like us. They have much higher IQs. They're a little bit taller. They have larger lobal brains. They live in a different dimensionality. Yes, they still suffer some duality, but they don't, because they're so much more ahead of us, they don't still have all the baggage and all the restraints of like the neighbor next door who's still in 3D, and they're still your neighbor. So your 3D neighbor is still making all this noise, and like kind of like every now and again, like it kind of pisses you off or gets on your, on your boobs or whatever you want to call it. And you're still living next to your 3D neighbor. So it's still quite easy sometimes to get yanked back into that. So I mean, Dolores Cannon put it the best, but we're living in big duality now. So do you want to live in fear, compassion, intuitiveness, being a sovereign being, or do you want to live in a world where you're told what to think, you can't have any thoughts for yourself, you're in fear, and you project fear onto other people as well? Because the way that the energies are stacked up now spiritually, metaphysically, and energetically, if you believe in that kind of thing, are stacked against the 3D vibration. So you're not going to be able to manifest as quickly and as much as you wanted in a 3D mentality and vibration as you're going to be able to in more 4D and going forward in more in 5D. 5D is going to be more faster manifestation, better timelines, your higher timeline, more synchronicity, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be quite easy going forward to actually see people who are in the 5D and people who are in the 3D, because it's going to become more obvious than ever. You're going to look at your neighbor next door and they're going to be in fear, and they're going to be projecting fear onto you, and they're going to be trying to drag you back down into their kind of like ideas of, well, we have to do what we're told, and I'm not sovereign. And there is a woman that basically channels David Bowie. David Bowie, like,
David
there's a
Bowie?
starman waiting in the sky, all of that, and
Oh,
Ziggy play guitar and all of that. I absolutely love David Bowie. And I used to be a musician in Nashville, so that's why I love to sing. But that's a story of another time. But she channels David Bowie, and she was saying, how David Bowie came through, and I can't remember her name, otherwise I give it to you, because there's probably subscribers watching this right now. So, oh my God, I would love to see this woman that channels David Bowie. What's the name? I can't remember. I'm so sorry. Maybe we can figure it out and put the link down below afterwards. But
yeah.
David
No,
Bowie comes through to her, and he's basically saying, we're a part of God creator source, right? So we are infinite expression, and when we die, we're not here. And when we leave this corporeal body, we are everywhere. We're a part of the universe, and there are multiple universes. We can feel and see and connect with everything. We are everywhere all at the same time. But when we go from being everywhere and everything all at the same time to coming into this very limited corporeal body, even in fifth dimensionality, that there are quite a lot of limitations compared to our non-physical source self. And David Bowie explains it and describes it as being like pushing your soul essence back into like a tube of toothpaste. It's like pushing it into this little container that is really restrictive.
right.
And it's like, you struggle to breathe sometimes. It's why humans, like, they struggle to breathe. It's why they go into, when you're living in the past, sometimes you go into depression. When you're living in the future, you go into fear. It's like we want to know, our ego is constantly wanting to know where we're going and what we're doing, because we've been stuffed into this like tube of toothpaste. So we are much bigger than we have been led to believe. And we're constantly told by advertising and the government and all these things that we're little people, and we've been forced to buy this, and we have to do this, and we're going to die young, and you've got a life expectancy of 80, therefore you have to buy this thing, and we're told that we're small, and we're not. In reality, on a soul essence, we're the total opposite of all of these things. So when we die, it's like the tube of toothpaste gets squeezed back out all over again, and we come back into the full essence of who we really are. That's why we have these people, when they have these NDEs, these near-death experiences, they come back and they say, my God, it was unbelievable. It was so beautiful. Like, I felt everything. I was everywhere. I was me all over again. I felt pure unconditional love and all that kind of thing. So going back into the split, people who are basically getting closer to what I was just explaining, the essence, the experience of the people having the toothpaste squeezed out, they're going to be closer to that experience, even if it's just a little bit. Whereas the 3D people are going to be stuck in the toothpaste tube with the lid tight, turned on quite tightly, and they're going to expect others. They're going to pull others in, and they're going to want others to stay in their tube too, because
Right.
they have fear of enlightenment. So I'm going to stop talking in a minute because I've been, so you can answer another question. But to cut a long story short, you're going to have all the people who are out of their tube of toothpaste, and you're going to have all the people who are stuck in there with the lid stuck on.
Right.
And it's going to be really easy to see these two people. So you get all these kind of 4D, 5D people who, you know, like I'm an empath, all this stuff. And yeah, that's great. And that's cool. I'm an empath too. And I have, and that is very important. And to go into the 5D energies, you need to have compassionate, empathic energies, because that's part of being an intuitive. But the 3D people are gonna not have that so much. So for all the empaths and the intuitives out there, my message to you right now is, I know you want to save everyone. And I know you want to take all your friends and family with you. And I get that. And you love them. But it's going to be a little bit from now on, especially since the 21st of 2020 last year, it's going to be a little bit like you're jumping into a frozen lake, trying to save someone, and then them pulling you down into the icy water and them drowning you too. And you can't save all the 3D souls anymore. So what Creator Source and the angelics and the ETs, you got one there and I've got one here too. We're like ET buddies, and I'll tell you about this little guy in a minute. But it's going to be a little bit like the energy, the universe from now on, and the angelics and the ETs. They want you to now to start forming your groups. They want you to find your tribe, and leave it up to the universe now to start. If the 3D people are going to wake up, let them do it. They have to find their own way now. Yes, plant some seeds. That's why they call them star seeds, because we're not just seeds, we're also planting seeds. We're seeders. Just like the Arcturians planted the seeds with the Pleiadians, because different civilizations plant each other. So we had the Pleiadians were planted by the Arcturians. And one day when we come to fruition, and when we start turning up into the atmosphere of other planets, they will look up at us humans and they'll say, "Hey, look, ETs, but it's just humans." When we become, extraterrestrial beings. So, I mean, yeah, it's a lot to think about, but the 3D and the 5D are here. It's more obvious than ever. And you're seeing this play out now. You're seeing this right now. So people are like, I want my freedom. Fake news. I don't believe that anymore. I don't trust the government. Do I want the needle in the arm? I'm not sure, because I don't know if I trust the government. Hey, and to your subscribers, I can't tell you what to do. That's up for you, because this is a free will planet. This is a free will environment. So I can't tell your guys what to do, but you got to let the 3D people now do their own thing. And the 5D people, they need to start clumping together now. So the light has won. It only takes approximately 1% or a little bit more for the light to win. So when you chuck a pebble in a lake, the ripples, they fly out, right? So there's something like 7.8 billion people on the planet, and you only need 1% of those starseeds, those light workers. Okay, if you don't believe in that, okay, let's just call it awakened people. Hey, if you don't believe in that, let's just go down even more. Let's just call it people who want to break out the system in a 3D way. And it only takes really 1% of people, which is 1% is roughly what, from 7.8 billion, it's like 78 million. So in Germany, there's something like, there's just a little bit more. I think it's like 82 million people in Germany. So you only need a country a little bit smaller than Germany to really come on board, to really come online, for the whole planet to just start waking up. Well, it's already happened. We're already there. And my advice to a lot of people at the moment, and I'm gonna conclude what I'm going to say, so you can fire some more questions, because I've just been talking because I love this stuff. Is my message to people is just hold on tight. Going back to the birthing analogy, right? So we are birthing, we're in labor. It's a little bit painful. Just keep pushing, because the baby's going to come out, right? It's going to come out. So just hold on. I know people are getting disenfranchised. And I'm depressed. I'm sick and tired of this. But as the light goes up, the dark is going to go up too. And we're winning when the dark keeps going up and up and up, because they have to keep going up to basically counteract the light. Mm-hmm. So that's where we're at. And I don't know if that answers that question or not, but yeah.
Yep. So we're definitely going from 3D to 5D, and we're all watching it play out as a movie, and everyone's on pins and needles, like, what's going to happen next? Because they know we're going to have to go through this rocky road to get to the end of the tunnel, right? And the end just you can clarify. So we're in 3D now, where the Earth is moving to 5D, and then the people are either going to choose, like you say, to stay in 3D, and they can move into 5D. So I want you to explain what is 3D, because a lot of people don't know what 3D, 4D, 5D is, what that even means. So if you could answer that, and also, how long do you think that will take, the process to get into 5D fully? People, I guess the Earth would have a different timeline, and then maybe the Earth's already in 5D and the people are catching up. And what does that mean? And I'll ask another question after that.
Well, I mean, it's really hard to answer. I mean, you get a lot of different, I go from my own intuition, I go from channel messages. I look at the Daniel Scranton channels, the Arcturians. I love him.
I see.
You got Michael Love, he channels the Pleiadians. You got Wendy Kennedy, she channels the Pleiadians along with other people. You got I can't remember some of the names, but you got so many people. You got angelic people. You got Cryon, who channels you got Lee Carroll, who channels Cryon. Cryon is an angelic source entity. So you kind of got all these things, and they're telling us a little bit about how many people are awake, and you got different perspectives. Last time I heard, there was something like between 15 to 20, maybe over 20, 25% of people who are awake or becoming awake. Don't forget, Dolores Cannon told us about the 3 waivers. So the people after the Second World War, the first wave of starseeds that came in, then you got the indigo children, the second wave, and then you got the third wave, like people around the 2000s who were being born, and then you got the rainbows and the crystals, and then it just morphed into a whole nother thing. What was the question again?
I was asking, you can explain what 3D is, what 4D is, and 5D, and so, just quickly, so because a lot of people don't know what it is, and then how long will it take to move into 5D?
So how long will it take? Well, I mean, I'm seeing it's going to take a good couple of generations, and I know that's really going to upset a lot of people, because a lot of people want it now. And they're tired of, there's people who are really spiritual and empathic, and they don't like big crowds, and they don't like the systems we're in, and they don't like, the conformities and the suppressions of the way we live. Yeah, I feel the same. And there's a lot of people who are not from this planet. They're not from Earth. That might sound crazy, but if you go to see a past life regressionist, they're going to say, well, hey, maybe you have many lifetimes on this planet. Maybe you're an old soul, but you didn't originate from here. This is not your home. So maybe you've been here a long time, but it's not your home, right? So it's going to take a good couple of generations. It could take anywhere from to get right. So how many to get everyone on board? It could take anywhere from 500, like another 500 years, maybe. What
about people, just individuals?
So basically, there are, okay. So let's go back to like after the Second World War, right? It was really super difficult to access, maintain, and hold ground and anchor 5D energies around that time. Like, it was super difficult. A lot of the first waivers like committed suicide or didn't want to be here, or it was super tough for them to hold their vibration, or they went into depression because they were very high vibrational people going into what I was saying, like the teeth, like they're going into even smaller toothpaste thing. But now there are energies available. You can access 5D. It's accessible. So you can change your diet, your mentality, your frequency, meditation, what you choose to buy into, what you choose to not buy into. Are you going to buy into fear, anxiety? No, you got to start using your intuition as well. When you start connecting with your higher self, which is the other, like 80% of your soul, which is on the other side. It was too much to come into your corporeal body, because there's a lot of people experiencing ascension symptoms because there's more light frequency and photonic energy, and your higher self coming in. They're experiencing ascension symptoms and heart palpitations and headaches and pains and itches and all icky stuff and all kind of, because there's all of a sudden you've got this corporeal body which is carbon based, and all of a sudden this energy is rushing in. Your body's going, oh, pain, oh, heart palpitation, oh God, ouch, like, okay, the body's adapting, like, oh, okay, just give me a second, take DNA upgrade, okay, like, okay, just getting there, okay, I gotta go lie down, okay.
Very dramatic.
So basically, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a good couple of generations. So the way it comes in is that every generation, a new load of higher vibrational souls come in. And then the next generation will get more crystals and indigo and rainbow children and all the rest of it. And they'll have more abilities and they'll be more intuitive and more psychic and more everything. So it's going to take a while. But the thing is, you don't have to wait for the collective to get there. You can start accessing it now because these energies are present now. But you got to put in the work a little bit because
how do you
nervous. You go first, go on.
How do you do that? You just said you got to put in the work.
So our nervous systems, well, let's start with the corporeal physical body, right? You know, caffeine, nicotine, recreational drugs, like processed foods. You know, our bodies have been pumped full of absolute bullshit for decades, you know, and I sometimes wonder if the food companies wanted to keep us low vibrational. You know, if you're drinking Coca-Cola, all these sugary like bottles of Coca-Cola, every now and again I'll have a bottle of Coca-Cola, just every now and again, like I'll have one can once a month. But what if you were to get like Daniel Scranton, right? Who challenged the Arcturians. If you got him to drink a whole lot of sugary drinks and eat processed food, like it would be like very difficult for him to dial the radio knob.
Yeah, it's like he's not clear anymore. He doesn't loses clarity.
Because it messes your body is a radio antenna. So if you like take the radio antenna, I'll show you. Let me like physically show you, right? So right here I have a microphone. This is the microphone I use for my radio interviews, right? My interviews and stuff, right? Yeah. So like when you take, let me just unravel this. So when you take Daniel Scranton, just for an example, so when you take the body, right, and you're pumping it full of all this crap, like this is when you're clean. Yeah, when there's no toxins in your body and you got like and your radio antenna is perfectly aligned. It's like this. You are aligned, right? Yeah. You're a straight line. You're a radio antenna to source. You're a radio antenna to your higher self. When you take recreational drugs, drink excessively, caffeine, nicotine, processed foods, loads of processed sugar, right? It just ends up like looking like this. It's like all just a big jumbled mess like this.
Right. There's no hope for you.
Yeah. So the first thing you got to do is get your radio antenna aligned, your body. So it helps. Not everyone, I don't want to say a sweeping generalization because it is not true, but it does help to go into a higher vibration if you eat less like dense foods, like lighter foods. Now, I do have some reptilian hybrid friends who are very high vibrational people who do still eat red meat and they can still vibrate at a very high level, but they seem to be in a much smaller group of people and they are fewer and further in between. And as the energies go up and up and up, and as you openly allow yourself to become willing to them, there's a lot of people finding themselves, oh, I don't feel like having beef anymore. I might go for chicken. Or actually, they start doing that for a while, cycling that diet. And then they go, well, as they become more high vibrational, and then they go, well, actually, you know, when I'm eating just fish and vegetables, or just raw food, like I can get out of bed in the morning. You know, I'm more intuitive. You know, I've got more energy, and all, and the energies, the higher energies, are going to lean more towards that. So you got to condition your body, your corporeal physical body, to lean towards that and get the toxins out. Because don't forget, our body is full of electrobiocircuitry, right? So you know the Schumann resonance, which measures the ionosphere, which is the electromagnetic frequency going on in the earth. It affects our body because our brain is governed by we have a bioelectrical circuitry. So we are electricity partly in a body.
Yeah.
So if you can raise the electricity in your body with better foods and less toxins and stuff, you're going to become a better antenna to align with higher vibrations. And then higher vibrations are going to find it easier to come to you. And then law of attraction, you're going to start attracting it more too. And then synchronicity is going to sort of go up and that kind of, and it's going to become easier for you to fall into that pocket of energy. So that's the first thing. You want to basically govern your body and basically get your body to a place where your antenna is aligned. The next thing is your thoughts. If you're buying into fear, if you're buying into you are little, if you're buying into I can't do this, I can't do that, if you're buying into I must do what the government tells me, then you're buying into the 3D matrix paradigms that have been enforced and sold to you. So it's a little bit about your body. It's also, you know, when you meditate, you can bring in more of your higher self. So when you bring in more of your higher self, you're connecting with yourself. You get a moment of clarity where you can get you can get visions, and you can also get like, okay, so how am I going to make more money this year? You know, I'm so anxious. I'm doing all these things. I've got my parents talking here. I've got my boyfriend talking here. I've got all this stuff. I've got LinkedIn throwing job interviews at me. I've got all this external stuff coming at me. But hey, what about how do I find the answer from within? So you need to start going more from within to feel for the answers and using this, your heart, then trying to get the answers externally using this. So don't go externally using this, go internal using this. That is the 5D energy. So you know, there's a lot of people from the solar flash who wrote to me, and I get a lot of people from all over the world writing to me, and it really surprised me because this whole thing has just kicked off recently, and I say, yeah, well, I never felt anything on the 21st of December. I never felt anything. And I said, that's because like you were thinking, like you were hoping it was going to be like some movie like Independence Day, where you look out the window and there's going to be like some massive solar flash, like boom, and like, and then like you're going to see something externally that you see with your eyes.
Right.
You're externally, you're trying to external a 5D experience from a 3D set of eyes. Actually, what it is, it's a vibrational thing that you feel internally that you need to, if you can't see it, it's because you're not using your heart and your 5D eyes to feel something that's 5D. No wonder you're not going to be able to see it. So
Yeah,
how do you access 5D? You need to start feeling it with your heart energy. You need to start feeling your way through. Also, go on.
yeah, no, and then by doing that, by doing things you love, right? The things that make you happy, it helps you get into that mode rather than doing things you don't enjoy. But then we all have jobs and we got to make money, and then people have limiting beliefs, and how do they let that go? And I'm interviewing a couple of people this week about how to release different energy psychology methods that they have. But that's still like very much with everyone right now is releasing limiting beliefs to allow themselves to go into 5D, right?
100%. You know, we've been indoctrinated by big pharma, advertising, governments. In some areas, the educational system, we've been indoctrinated to have a certain way of thinking. You can't do this unless you've been told to do it.
Yeah.
You can't believe this unless you've been told to do it. You can't have any thoughts for yourself unless we've told you that you can have them. Same in all the industries. Everything is given to you. Everything is fed to you. Everything is rammed down your throat. In 5D, it's like, well, what do I think? What do I feel is intuitively right? You know, when you're watching a court case on TV, what do you intuitively feel is the innocent person? Like, what do you intuitively feel actually might be the right job for you, as opposed to what you were told to do by your father or your mother? Like, what do you intuitively feel that you would like to go and do, as opposed to what LinkedIn has told you that you need to go and do, right? What part do you think that might resonate with you, as opposed to what, you know, you feel socially conformally, you know, suppressed that you have to do? When you look at some of the most successful entrepreneurs, they they were in line with themselves. They were in line with their own intuition, and they had an
So,
intuition, they had a feel on a direction, and then they just went for it. That's kind of like a little bit 5D in business. So in answer to your question, you can tap into the 5D energy, and there's more photonic gamma light energy present more than ever, and we can get into where that comes from and how all that kind of stuff. But it's going to support you more now than ever before. As Cryon, channeled by Lee Carroll, says, in the older energies, it was like pushing a boulder up a hill. Like the day was long, it was tough. You had to spend years getting somewhere. Now the wind is in your sails. It's going to take half the time to manifest something. Maybe something you couldn't do in an older energy. Maybe try it again. It'll work in half the time. Does that explain does that just give a little bit on your?
no, I understand that, but what do you use to remove limiting beliefs like I can't, I'm not good enough? It's something your family's never been happy, followed their passion. They never had money. They've always been struggling. So that's how I've always lived my life. Those kind of things that a lot of people, all of us have. How would you recommend people release that?
It's very, very tough. It's very, very difficult because, it's much easier for the younger kids coming in. But if you're like 30 plus or, and you had much more commitment and investment in the 3D world, it's much harder to break the old dualistic beliefs that you were brought up in.
Right.
But also, when you start eating more healthy and getting rid of the toxins in your body and exercising more, your body starts feeling better and your brain starts feeling more healthy. And then your brain can start opening up a little bit more to possibilities because you start feeling a bit better about yourself, and you don't have to have a coffee to wake up in the morning, or this stimulant or this thing, which is blocking your intuition. So the other thing I would say is, obviously, there's a lot of like billionaires that said, show me your friends and I'll show you like how successful you're going to be,
Right.
because they
Five
say,
people closest to you.
yes, that is partly true. But I would say, obviously, I would say get with your own tribe, get with higher vibrational people, but also just trust that it is going to work out. Trying to get your body, your mind and your body into a higher vibrational place, and don't listen to your limiting friends. If you have toxic friends and limiting friends, just get rid of them. Literally, it's that easy. Just get rid of them. If you have people that are telling you can't do this or you can't, just bin them. Yeah. Did Alexander Quinn say that? Yeah, I did say that. I just said that. Bin them. You don't need those people in your life.
Right.
I'm reading one of the Dolores Cannon books at the moment, and there are these. She basically quantum healing hypnosis technique, and higher this that you've got the conscious, and then you've got the subconscious, and then you've got the superconscious, and somewhere in there you got the id. And when these people are under hypnosis, you've got the superconscious and the higher self coming through, and they're like, you can do anything. But we've been programmed by the 3D world, and the rulers of the 3D world is very profiting for them to have us in a state of disbelief that we can't do anything. So we have to rely on them for anything. It's like social media. We have to rely on Facebook to get our message out, although that's not allowed anymore because everything is suppressed. We have to rely on YouTube to get the videos out there. I mean, I use YouTube and so do you, but what I'm saying is that we're reliant on all these big things that are basically force us to not be sovereign. So how do you stop? I also meditate a lot. Every time I have a limiting belief, I tell myself I'm going to show you a really special book right now, actually, for your viewers out there. If you like affirmations and stuff, you need to get this. It is the complete works of Florence Scovel Shinn.
Yes.
She was a leading metaphysician. Is that the right word? Metaphysicist? Something like that.
Physicist.
That's the one. And she basically was very ahead of her time. So she was a massive manifester. So in the 30s or the 20s, when she wrote this book, She was manifesting things, and she knew how to manifest things. So if you look at this book, she has these things like you can say every day. So never, like for example, I just opened it up at page 112. Never, let me never wander from the heart's desire. There's another one. I now stand aside and watch God work. It interests me to see how quickly and easily he brings the desires of my heart to pass. You know, if you use these words every single day in your life, wake up, set your intention. So when you put your feet on the ground, set your intention. Because when you set your intention, a ripple goes boom out into the universe, and then you start attracting that. So speak the words, get your mentality, get your intuition in line, get your body in line, get rid of the 3D Matrix stuff. If you have to go and watch Keanu Reeves in the Matrix, go and watch it.
It's a good movie.
Go and watch it every day if you have to.
Yep.
And you know what? Your eyes are going to burn, because, you know, in the Matrix, when he wakes up on that table and he's got all the little needles in his eye and is all over his body because his muscles are going through atrophy or whatever you call it. He opens his eyes for the first time and he's like looking around. It's like, my God, like Morpheus, why do my eyes hurt? And Morpheus says, well, because you never used your eyes before. It freaking hurts. So, you know, doing some of these things that I'm saying are going to hurt a little bit because you've never done it before. But once you practice it for a month or 2 or 3, it's going to be super easy. You're going to have a bubble which is around you. And that is how actually you're going to attract a lot of your family and your friends into the 5D. Because it's not going to be about evangelicalizing, or whatever the name is, like preaching to them about how you have to come out the matrix. You lead by example. They're going to see your energy. It's going to be attractive, and they're going to want that because they're going to see your light, and they're going to like, you know, damn it, that light is really attractive. I want that. And they're going to follow your lead that way. So the 5D people are going to have to lead by example, and that's how it's going to work.
I like that. And having a practice and creating a routine every day that gets you into because it's always hard to break a habit, right? I mean, you have to build.
It's super difficult. Every day, every single day, I have to do it. I have to force myself. Like I don't claim to be like Buddha or like the Dalai Lama or something, or like every day when I wake up, I have to constantly keep reminding myself of these things all the time. It's not easy. As I say, like if you're a first waver or a second waver, if you're like 30 plus and you've been very invested in the older energies, like prior to 2012, it's much harder. But yeah, it's definitely, you got to invest a little bit more time, because we are the generations of the duality in terms of energies. Whereas the kids coming in now, they're pretty much just coming into more of a 5D, and it's easier.
It is. So the guy I'm interviewing tomorrow is he talks about the gamma mindset. So getting in the gamma mindset and then reprogramming your subconscious to eliminating beliefs. Even in any of these different energy psychologies, it's still a routine. It's still a practice. You got to do it every day. You got to remind yourself. So it's no easy way to just flip the switch and be like, okay, all those beliefs that I've had my whole life are now gone.
It's not easy. It's
Right.
not easy.
You got to be dedicated to it. And that's why the diet, like changing the diet, helps you gain anytime I do fasting, anytime long-term fasting, 3-day, 4-day, 5-day, 15-day, it's clarity is amazing that I gain during. Are you into fasting at all? Have you?
Do you know what? Do you know what? I every now and again I'll have a day where I will just I won't eat till dinner time. I'll drink like 2 bottles of water, and then I won't eat until nighttime, just to clear the body out. And I was I don't claim to be a channeler. Every now and again I get some messages that come through. If I'm honest, it's still something I'm working on, but every now and again I will have messages come through. And I was trying to channel the Arcturians. This is the Arcturian here. This is my Arcturian Zeb, who my mentor made for me. I can tell you a little bit about that in a bit. But yeah, that looks like a kind of Zeta.
I don't know my ET race like you do, but this is Perry, who visits me regularly. Well, not this actual doll, but
he looks really cool. He looks really cool. Zeb wants to say hello.
Hello.
So yeah, I was fasting for about a week, and I was trying to connect with the Arcturians, and I just whatever, you know, I just couldn't do it. I wasn't doing the right thing. You know, I'm still early on in the path, but I get moments when they really come out. And then one day, yeah, fasting, I just got pure clarity. I was just like having like a courgette in the morning for breakfast, and then 2 bottles of water like every day for 7 days. And like I got this thing, and I just suddenly had to go to my keyboard, and I was just typing, and this message was coming out of nowhere, and I knew it was. I thought it was these guys, and it was coming out, but it was weird because the thoughts. It was like the thoughts were coming into my mind, but they weren't my thoughts. And when I was typing this message out, it was absolutely crazy because it just kept coming and coming and coming, but it wasn't, it was coming from nowhere. And I put it on Facebook. This thing exploded. A friend of mine only posts channel messages, and it became her biggest channel message that she ever had on Facebook. And I looked back on the message and I was like, that is amazing, because there were things in there that I didn't even know. So yeah, going back to what you were saying, fasting can help. Don't forget, fasting, you got to be careful with the fasting, because you got to listen to the body. If the body doesn't want to do it because energetically it's not right for you at that moment in time, if you're taking a lot of upgrades on, or genetic restructuring or whatever, you know, like the body might need things, you know, don't just suddenly go into fasting, because you might need to give it some stuff. Do it only if you feel, but yeah, fasting for sure. Because you're ridding the body of pollutants and toxins and things like that. And it helps the DNA recoding and restructuring. So we can go from carbon to crystalline. And, you know, some of your subscribers might be interested in something called the Enki, I think it's called Enki's Gift, which is a little bit of homework for some of your viewers. It's called Enki's Gift. It's basically a Barbara Marciniak, who is a Pleiadian channeler. Go and check out her stuff. Absolutely amazing. She talks about Enki, which is basically like a time encodement, which is about DNA encodement, and how one of the Anunnaki, Enki, basically put something in our genetic restructuring so that at the right time, we would switch on.
How do you spell Enki?
I'm dyslexic, so that I hope I don't get this wrong. My spelling is terrible. I think it's Enke.
Okay.
No, Enki.
Enki, Enki's Gift.
Yeah, Enki's Gift, Barbara Marciniak.
Right.
She's phenomenal. She's phenomenal.
So cool. There's so much information. It's just crazy out there. And I want to come back. We only have like 10 minutes left because I got to jump on. I had another interview, but I so many more questions I want to ask you about the ET races. Because
well, we can do it again. I'd love, you know, if you want to, we can get together again. I would love to speak to you, because I feel like we've only really touched on just a fraction, like 1%.
I know
of all of this.
No, there's so much. I know this is 3D information, and it's not looking at the big picture, but people want to know what's coming up. Like, is there going to be a blackout? Do you have any input on that stuff? Like, what's to expect?
So it looks like the 3 days of darkness. So I've seen ET channel messages where there's some really crazy stuff where the ET channel messages, like, we've got to block out the sun for 3 days because because the solar wave is going to be so big. But I think personally, the 3 days of darkness, the 10 days of darkness, is going to be some kind of media or internet blackout.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be one of two things. It's going to be because it's for our own safety, or it's going to be because the dark don't want us spreading any more light. Now, I actually don't know. I'd be the first person to say I don't know fully, but I think the 3 days of darkness, the 10 days of darkness is going to be some kind of media or internet blackout. And when it happens, don't freak out. Please, I'm talking to your subscribers. Please don't freak out. I want you to relax when the 3 days of darkness, 10 days of darkness.
Enjoy the silence.
I want you to enjoy the silence. You know, we're on these damn things every single day.
So you think that means no electricity or no internet? What do you think that means?
I think there will still be electricity, but it's social media and internet and communications, comms, stuff like that will go down. Now, I don't know whether it's because it's to stop us or to save us. I'm not sure yet. But I think that's what the 3 days of darkness are going to be. More on 2021. If you want to see my prediction video, it's on my YouTube channel. But Censorship is going to go through the roof. If you thought last year, this year they're going to shit all over you, pardon my French, but it's really going to get even worse. There's going to be more people going on to Parler and all these things, and there's a BitChute and the new YouTube thing and Telegram, and they're going to try and suppress that too.
And Wimkim is a new social media site that has no censorship. Have you heard of it?
I haven't actually. No, I need to check that out.
WIMKIN. Jason Shepard's the creator of it. I had him on my show a few weeks back.
Oh, wow. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, World Must Know, Wimkin. Then he added the I's in there. It was WMK, World Must Know, and then he added in the I's, Wimkin.
Okay, that's incredible. Thank you so much for letting me know about that, because I just like everybody else, I'm finding out all about these new social media things too. You know, it's new to me. There's going to be a lot of riots. There's going to be, I think I want to direct people to Joni Patry. Something is coming into me right now. It's telling me to tell your viewers to go to Joni Patry. Okay, she's a psychic astrologer. Now, she made a video with 2021 predictions. She talks about Joe Biden's inauguration, and there is a very, very rare volatile set of alignments happening. And guess what day it falls on? The 20th of January, Joe Biden's inauguration. So it looks like the inauguration is not going to go the way you think it's going to go. And the main message that I've been seeing a lot of astrologers, a lot of psychics, a lot of starseeds is expect the unexpected.
Well, Biden's not going to be our president, so I guess that would be unexpected.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but it's going to be crazy. So head over to Joni Patry's thing, but also check out my predictions. So you're going to see new social media sites coming up. You're going to see a lot more people disbelieving everything they've been told, a whole lot of stuff. But I would say hold your space. Be very careful what you're buying into. Check in on yourself every single day. You know, a lot of people are slipping back into fear and anxiety. You know, I even get moments when I am too. It's so easy to do that, but you got to keep checking in on your space. And the Pleiadians are saying the same thing right now. How do I feel today? What's triggering me today? Am I holding my space? Am I putting protection mechanisms up? Am I buying into fear? Am I buying into fear? Stop that nonsense. Stop buying into fear. You know, the media are just selling fear. That's all they do. It's like a fear injection. And that's why people keep coming back.
We're used to it.
You know, the media stations and the news and the radio and all the rest of it in 100 years' time are not going to be selling fear, because it's not going to be attractive. People won't buy into it anymore. They're going to be selling, you know, they're not going to be talking about things getting worse all the time. They're going to be talking about things who are improving, getting better. And that's what people are going to want. So I would say 2021 is going to get worse. I know people don't want to hear that, but it's like look at this bottle of water, right? Now imagine if I put a whole lot of dirt and sediment into here, and it all floats down. Now when I hold this bottle, all the sediment and the dirt sinks to the bottom, right? We've got to shake it up so that all the sediment can come to the top and be processed, and we can see the dirt coming out to the top, so we can see it and put a name on it and go, oh, yuck, that's horrible, tip the water out. And that's what's happening right now. We're seeing the shake up, and people are like, oh God, it's scary, I don't like it. I don't like the turbulence. You know, we're on the plane and we're bumping up and down, and everything's been shaken, and I feel like I'm all over the place and I don't know what to do, and I'm scared. I mean, that's praise the Lord, like save me, Jesus. You know, but we've got to have the shaking happening. So everything, all the dirt, all the pedophilia, you know, all the grooming gangs, all the atrocities, all the corruption, the lies, the propaganda, the media, blah, 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 can come to the surface for processing and for healing. And that's happening right now. And it's going to be all about this year and next year, and 2021 to 2024 are the big years it's going to happen. Bing, bang, boss, there's your answer.
Okay, so the next 2 years, all the corruption is going to be revealed. All the darkness is going to be in our face. And then beyond 2024, you think we'll go more to the loving and...
Yeah, after 2024, it's going to start calming down a little bit. But we're not going to be told everything, because a lot of people can't handle everything. So there's going to be just bits coming out, bits here, bits there. You know, they've unleashed the CIA and WikiLeaks unleashed little bits about aliens here, and bits about things here, and WikiLeaks about just, and you're just going to keep little trickles here and there, but it's going to build up and build up and build up. But they're not going to make it obvious for you, because otherwise you like your nervous system would not be able to handle it. If we just like boom, there's everything. Like, you know, like 80% of the planet just wouldn't be able to mentally handle it. How do you take 80% of the population that have been in one paradigm and just go, boom, I just took the rose tinted spectacles off. I just ripped it. Like, people would have like mental breakdowns. Their nervous systems just wouldn't be able to process it. So, you know, the white hats and the alliance that David Wilcock talk about it, they're going to give you trickles, but the trickles are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But you got to look out for it. You got to watch. But it's, you know, you see more celebrities going to jail for child pedophilia and more corruption coming out, and you see it more and more and more. But it's going to grow. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
This night there's fake news articles saying the Pope got arrested for child. Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that because do you know who Anonymous are?
What? Who is?
Do you know the hacker group Anonymous?
Oh no, I don't.
Well, you know that they wear those masks. There was a film, I can't remember the name, but they wear those masks and they got a mustache. The Guy Fawkes thing.
Oh, I think I do.
Well, I get. Yeah, no, you do. If I showed you a picture, you would know.
Yeah.
I get it. While I'm talking, I'll get it right now. So I get a lot of messages from people in Anonymous, because my site is like all about the truth and getting the truth out there. So they send me all this stuff all the time, and yeah, it's crazy, the stuff coming to the fore at the moment.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm just looking up this thing. I'm just
no, go ahead. I forgot I was going to ask about the blackouts coming. Do you think Trump's going to be president on Inauguration Day, or it doesn't feel like anything's going to happen on Inauguration Day?
Yeah. So what I'm seeing and hearing, this is the Anonymous thing that a lot of the people use. This thing.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I get what I am seeing spiritually, intuitively, and what I'm seeing from other intuitives is that Trump is not going to be president, but he is going to be in a place whereby he will almost inadvertently have as much power or more power being out of power, because he has this massive following.
Yes.
So Biden will be president. You can't get around that now.
What?
Yeah, I that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But I'm seeing that Trump will have as much power and be able to make more changes, because there won't be all the red tape and all the legislation and everything. Now, I know that's not what people want to hear, but that is what I'm seeing. That's what I'm. Some friends of mine who are very respectable people. There's a lot of Trump supporters out there going, no. But what I'm saying is, yeah, Biden's gonna be president. But Trump he's not going anywhere. Trump is going to be a force that's not going anywhere. And the Inauguration Day, I wouldn't be surprised if something crazy happened. Expect the unexpected. That is what I'm saying.
Like Biden gets arrested?
I'm just one voice, but that's what I'm seeing from the people who I follow and speak to, who are very psychically, intuitively connected.
I just can't see him being, I guess I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just have the goggles on where I'm seeing what I want to see. But it just doesn't feel like he will be energetically. I just don't see it. Maybe it's good. I just feel Trump is, like you just said, he's going to still have a lot of power, and he'll be.
Well, in the spiritual community, especially in the Starseed community, Anonymous, the reason why, people don't talk about this. I know we're nearing the end of our time. So I just want to conceptualize this and conclude this little idea up. Okay. The reason why so many like Starseeds and a lot of light workers and a lot of people who are system busters and people who like Dolores Cannon and stuff, the reason why they love Trump and they want Trump to be their champion is because they feel like Trump is the one who's going to break down the deep state. He's the one who's going to give us disclosure. He's the one who doesn't fall within the rules. He's the one who only speaks the truth. He's the one who doesn't care about the old paradigm. He's the system buster who's going to come out and work with, you know, the white hats. If you don't know who those are, look those up. So that is why so many people have, you know, who are in the spiritual world and the Starseed world, who are the system busters, who want kind of like truths and stuff to come out, are heavily reliant on him being the guy, being the man, right? Because they feel like he's the one who's going to break down the black state, the deep state,
Right.
and
Yeah.
the suppression of information, all the rest of it. So
Corruption.
that is why we had that heavy reliance on that. And right now, it seems that he's the only obvious candidate that is that we have right now. That there are going to be more people. It doesn't matter whether who might not even be right wing, who will increasingly be system busters. But in the more 5D energy, what's going to be really interesting is people won't need to look too much to like left and right, because you're even going to have, you know, a lot of people on the left too who are going to want to break down the deep state as well. So it's I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's not going to be so important that I'm left with, you know. Don't forget the way the game is eked out and carved and sculpted is that politics and religion are a man-made construct. You know, it wasn't given us by God. God didn't say, you must be Muslim, you must be Christian, you must be Hindu. You know, it's a man-made construct. They just slapped a label on it, and now we've got it. You know, these are man-made constructs, but you know, religion, you know, brings a lot of people together, but it also creates divide because we have factions warring against each other. But politics, especially, you know, music brings people together, right? But politics is a man-made construct that, you know, separate, conquer, divide. Yep. So you've got the rulers of the 3D world giving us these 3D constructs. So they're laughing while we're all fighting each other because I'm left and I'm right. And, you know, we need to quit that BS. You know, we just start having unity conscious coming together, because we're not going to take down the Rothschild family and the banking state and the Federal Reserve and the Area 51 and the suppression of information if we're all fighting each other, because that's what they want. They want you to be right wing and they want you to be left wing. So we're all fighting each other. And it's a distraction. It's like all these TV shows that we're just glued on. We're just like, oh, just watch, enjoy your drooling, just watch. I'm like, yes, I love Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones, but I'm not glued to it all the time and what the news is telling me. I have my own thoughts. So I read a book every now and again. So we need to start cutting out all these distractions and fighting each other. We've got to come together. We've got to come together.
That's what I love about, though. That's what people love Trump, because I'm not a political person at all, because I thought they're all liars. I mean, both sides. I don't trust any of them. And then Trump comes along, I'm like, and he doesn't give a shit. Like, he just wants to, he's like a bulldozer. I'm like, this might be really exciting.
Well, I've heard you know, people like Ashtar commands, all this stuff. You know, what is very, very interesting is, you know, the Pleiadians refer to Trump as the trumpet, which I love because he's obviously very loud. But what's fascinating is on the other side of the veil, they talk about him not as right wing or left wing, but they talk about him as a wild card that was needed to go in to help the restructuring of some things. He was like a paradigm changer. It's something to go in there and just kind of restructure things a little bit. For a kind of to break down old systems. So he's a wild card to kind of break things down, and that's how they talk about him on the other side.
Yeah, it's necessary. You have to go to a change, like you say. You can't just go 3D to 5D. There's an in-between process, and Trump is helping us move in that direction, I believe.
Yeah. He's like a wild card to kind of like stir things up and change them a little bit.
Piss people off and bring up their rage and their anger that they need to get out anyway. And it's going in the right direction anyway, whether you love them or hate them, we're going in the right direction. Right?
I think energetically things are definitely going in the right direction. I mean, There are old systems that are changing. I'm working for the better. I mean, I really hope Nazara and Jazara get enacted. Whether they do or don't, I'm not sure. But there are some bills that are relational to the constitutional change and financial restructuring that have been put in place. I made a video about it on my YouTube. You can check it out. But I hope that stuff gets enacted, because it's going to be a more interesting world. It's a little bit more of an even playing field. I'm not trying to say we can't have billionaires. I'm not trying to say you can't be really successful and be rich and all the stuff, because if you want to have abundance, abundance is your birthright. You know, we didn't come in here to be poor. You know, a lot of these spiritual people say, I have to be poor to be spiritual. No, abundance is your birthright. It's bullshit. You know, Jesus.
They believe that you can't be abundant and spiritual.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jesus gave up a lot of his things because he had to, but that was a different paradigm. But you don't have to be poor to be spiritual. Unfortunately, where a lot of spiritual people get confused and caught up in the 3D old paradigms is that, yes, money has been used for evil. Money has been gained in evil ways, but that doesn't mean money can't be used for good and give you options that are going to help you maybe help others in a 5D paradigm. So it's, yeah, I mean, so Nazar and Jazar are going to be very interesting. There are little bits and pieces of that being enacted. There are some people in your lovely country, the United States of America, who are waking up to their student loans and things like, what just vanished, and there's an investment channel you can go to called Pimpy's investment channel. Oh my God, that guy! That's not, oh my God, okay. So yeah, okay. So I occasionally go and check out his stuff.
You want to join the first part of our interview and you can meet him? That'd be fun.
Yeah, I would love to. I would absolutely love to.
Yeah, I'll give you the link when because he starts in 5 minutes. Shit.
So okay, fine. Okay. So look, we got to finish up. So look, we'll talk again. And look, I don't want to. I'll leave you to wrap up.
Yeah. So I love this. This video turned out differently than I thought, because I love the talk about going into 5D and what people can do to stop participating in the craziness that's going on and take a step back and realize I don't have to participate in it. I can go into the 5D right now. I don't have to wait for the collective to do anything, and that you are in control of your life and your happiness and doing these things. And it's not a switch. You don't just let go of everything all of a sudden. Oh, I'm in happy times now. Life is great. Like that's kind of like what a lot of people are feeling, that it's just going to be a switch. Like all these arrests are going to happen and the world's going to be an amazing, there'll be puppy dogs and rainbows everywhere. And fortunately, it's not going to be like that.
No. It's going to take time. It's going to take time, because the old 3D paradigm and the old 3D ways have to slowly die out. Okay.
And it takes
vibrationally, energetically, you can feel it. You can feel the energy.
Okay, let's do another interview later on. I'm going to talk to you when we end this recording anyway, but about your book. And I want to talk more about the ET races. I don't know anything about that. So I would love to dive into that if you're up for that.
I would love to dive very deep on that. It would be my absolute pleasure. I can't wait to do that.
All right. Thank you, Alexander. Hold on for a minute. So bye, guys. Thanks for listening.